Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Glad you're with us. Such a good conversation this week. I find myself like laying in bed thinking about this topic, what gets us off track, what derails us, and how we get back on. That's how I know we're having a good conversation, because you're giving me so much food for thought that I'm laying awake at night in a positive way, thinking about it. A couple of other things. So yesterday people talked about, their schedule gets busy, and that's one way that they get off track. People talked about emotional distress, and that's how they get off track. Totally understand those. I think all of us can relate to those. A couple of others came up, and I want to shout out Gail Miller and Mary Nelson. Gail and Mary are both wrestling with chronic illness. Every one of us has experienced, I have a cold, or I don't feel great, so I'm not going to work out. Imagine struggling with chronic illness and still trying to find your way through to making regular good choices, to building these good habits. Both of them say that, when their illnesses flare up, that makes it really tough to make good choices and to stay on track. I absolutely get that. Sarah mentioned just not having enough space. Sometimes there's just literally not enough physical room or space to get it done. And Ellen Bauer mentioned sometimes not knowing where I'm going stops me from even getting started. I love that one, because I think a lot of folks suffer from that one. In the past, we've talked about SMART goals and the importance of making little tiny manageable commitments. Instead of saying 12 months from now or 40 pounds from now or something ridiculously put off into the future, to think in terms of what you can do right now or today. I know a lot of you have expressed not knowing what to do. Having too many options is paralyzing, right? You love having a workout put in front of you each day, because if you just have to go choose from the millions of workouts on YouTube, you're probably never going to make that choice and get started. So Ellen, you're not alone. That, not knowing what to do, not knowing where to start is definitely a big thing. I thought of some tools that I use, and I thought of one other thing that happens in my own brain and in my own emotional life that gets in my way. And that's absolutism. And I think absolutism is something that we all have to work on. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say me and the family, we go out for donuts on a Sunday morning, and let's say I'm a little off the rails and I have 3 donuts. It's not unheard of. Instead of, when lunch comes, instead of saying to myself, well, you should probably make a good, healthy choice for lunch, my brain does this. Well, I've screwed up the day already. Doesn't really matter. I might as well have a hamburger. I write off the whole day and somehow use one bad choice as an excuse or to make other choices that aren't as healthy as they could be. And I think a lot of us do the same. You think, well, I don't have 45 minutes to get in my clothes and do a workout. I guess I won't do anything. That kind of absolutism really gets in our way. What if instead of absolutism, we focused on, okay, I can't do the thing that I want to do or that I would normally do, but what can I do? Don't focus on what you can't do, but focus on what you can do. All right, you're busy. Can you do 5 minutes of squats? Can you do 2 minutes of push-ups? Can you stretch? Can you sit at your computer desk and in between emails, just do a little shoulder work? What are the things that you could do to keep you moving? Okay, you're under the weather. Totally get that. Can you just do the warm-up? Can you go for a walk? Can you just do a little bit of mobility work? Instead of giving ourselves permission to do nothing when we can't do everything, can we focus, instead of being absolutist, can we focus on what we can do? The great thing about that is not only do you feel accomplished because you did something, and the same goes for time. Maybe you don't have time to do a workout. Can you spare 3 minutes? Not only do you feel accomplished, but you've reinforced the routine of making a good choice and taking care of yourself. Now you're not off track. Now you're just admitting that giving 100% doesn't look like the same thing every single day. Sometimes 2 minutes of squats in your bedroom is giving 100%. Sometimes 40 minutes of sweaty kickboxing is giving 100%. But knowing that 100% doesn't always look like the same thing, not being absolutist about it, but making sure that we just carve out a little space to do what we can, when we can, helps reinforce those habits. Then you're not off track, right? The hardest thing is getting back on track. So why don't we prevent getting off track by carving out little ways to do something instead of nothing? That's the message today. When you don't have time or don't feel well or your body is aching or you're not in a great emotional place, can you focus on just doing a little, just doing what you can? Embracing the notion of 100% today doesn't look like 100% yesterday. That, I think, is a strategy every one of us, myself included, could use to help us prevent getting derailed, to help us prevent getting off track. And also, as we're making a comeback, if we find that we're not capable as much as we think we should be capable of, do what you can do. Arthur Ashe used to say it, right? It's one of my favorite quotes. Start where you are, do what you can, use what you have. Don't look for excuses, look for opportunities to get what you can do done. That's the message here in the middle of the week. Let me know how you think about that. Let me know if that strikes a chord for you, and let's keep this conversation going. How do we stay on track? How do we get back on track? Because that's what it's all about. New workouts up on the playlist. Rhonda Tom has been sending me a lot of workouts, and everybody has loved them, so I'm putting one of Rhonda's up there, one of her favorite workouts. A donation link somewhere on the page, and a great Wednesday to everybody. Move your bodies. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.